What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Scarlet Witch issue number 2, with Wanda opening up a witchcraft shop called the Emporium. In addition to selling magical remedies, it is also home to the Last Door, a portal that appears to those with nowhere else to turn. Wanda's latest guest is none other than the superhero known as Viv Vision. That is because she is claiming that her nightmares are trying to kill her. But you guys need to make sure that you stay all the way through to the end of the video, because there is a story featuring Storm and the Scarlet Witch that is exploring a little bit more of Storm's magical origins. While she may be a mutant, a goddess of a mutant, an omega of a mutant, that does not change the fact that she comes from magical roots. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we have Wanda and Viv that are sitting down having a conversation. Viv goes on to say that it is nice to see her again, though it is kind of strange. And you could understand the little bit of awkwardness there is, because Viv is the daughter of her ex Vision and his second wife, a wife programmed with the same brainwaves as Wanda. Now, you heard me in the last issue say that this was the Scarlet Witch's daughter. In a sense, it kind of is, but at the same time, it is not. But Viv has been dealing with the loss of her mother, and so even if Wanda is almost a replica of the brainwaves of the person that was her mother, it doesn't make her her mother. It doesn't change the fact that her mother is dead. But Viv is going through a lot, and it appears that she has nobody to turn to. That is why the Last Door opened up for her. And while Vision has his theories on what is going on with Viv, he is all theories. He is all logical puzzles. Grief isn't something about logic, but still Viv had been doing better. She was doing pretty good, but then there seemed to be some kind of backsliding. These dreams began, a form of rebel code attacking her mind for weeks. She was unable to rest without a vivid reminder of her greatest suffering. Now, Wanda tells her that these aren't dreams, these are nightmares. Viv was unfamiliar with the difference between the two. Nonetheless, her body is failing, and so is her mind. If these nightmares do not stop, she knows that they will destroy her in time. And so this is where Wanda takes her into the dreamscape. Her dreams are under siege, and through her dreams, her hope is also under attack. As the two of them drift away, we go into the dreamscape that is Viv's mind. We see what she has created here. Those that don't understand Vision or Viv, they would say that they are nothing more than artificial. But if you witnessed their dreamscape, you couldn't deny that they were anything but simply alive, telling Viv that every inch of her mind is a miracle. But it won't be here on the surface where they find where this rod is. Wiping away a blanket, that is what brings us to the home of Viv, a beaten and battered home. As she looks around looking for anything that may be causing all of these problems, that is where she sees the culprit. That is where she sees Dream Queen, the daughter of Nightmare. As the two of them start to conversate, Dream Queen going on about how she is a god here in the dreamscape, that there is nothing Wanda can do to stop what is happening. That is where we see Wanda, she manifests a giant lion. We see it swallow Dream Queen whole. But even with Wanda's great amount of power, we see Dream Queen is able to take this magical manifestation and turn it to anything she chooses, turning them into bats. We see Wanda take those bats and she transforms them into a whip. As the two of them joust back and forth, this is when Dream Queen says that you are in my realm, and in my realm, I can take anything from you, even the very air that you believe you are breathing. As Wanda feels the oxygen being cut off from her, we see a giant explosion. Dream Queen believing that she had won this joust, only to hear Wanda's voice. Wanda saying that you did catch me off guard. but you gave me a couple seconds. I had a couple seconds of air, a few last moments of suffering for you to savor. That when you take aim at the Scarlet Witch, it's best that you do not miss. This is where we see Wanda take Dream Queen and encapsulate her inside of a magical bubble. Wanda saying that the dreamscape is not hard to mold once you get a feel for it. Wanda letting her know that this is all over, that you will be exiled to your dreamscape, but without any dreams, any suffering to eat off of. It will be a death sentence for the Dream Queen nonetheless. This is where Wanda gives her a tiny little piece of suffering. Something that will give her substance. A pain that Wanda has been holding on to for ages, and that will last for a very long time. With a snap of her finger, we see the Dream Queen disappear, and Vivian's dreamscape has now been saved. What the Dream Queen did not know is that once she ate that piece, she would definitely have a hearty meal. But there was one catch, a transformation spell hidden within the taste of her pain. As she devours the agony of the greatest tragedy Wanda had ever endured, Dream Queen will change. Where once she lived off of suffering, now she must consume bliss to survive. But she also left her taste unchanged. The joy she needs will disgust her. This is what you would call poetic justice. As they return from the dreamscape, Viv has now been saved, thanking Wanda and making her exit. The two of them say their goodbyes, and Wanda now sitting looking at this little rock on her desk. This one that can repel even her magic. Not sure where its origins come from, not sure what it means. With Darcy coming in saying that you are still looking at that rock, what is going on? For Wanda, it is simply another mystery, much like Darcy herself, who came through the last door 3 weeks ago. Because 3 weeks ago, she was at the bar with no name, and it appears that somebody had been looking for her, threatening that anybody that gives Darcy shelter is going to pay the ultimate price. So it seems that the mysterious Darcy definitely has some skeletons in her closet. Now this is what takes us over to Storm and Wanda, taking place sometime after the events of Judgment Day. Now that Eric has passed, Magneto is gone. Storm is coming to pay her respects to Wanda to see how she's doing, to check in on her, because she knows how important Eric was to her. But this is when Wanda says that she could actually use some of her help. She had been in the middle of taking inventory. That is when she recognized that she ran out of a specific type of flower, one that blooms in a very specific location, and you need 2 individuals of magical birthright to get the required ingredients. And while Storm says that she is flattered, she is not a practicing sorceress. Wanda going on to say that the potency of her birthright, it dwells within inside of her nonetheless. So the two of them take a quick trip. They go to a location where they clear out the fog. Wanda going on to say that Storm is very much part of the Sisterhood. She sees things that others cannot. That the fog Storm had cleared out, this was no ordinary barrier. It was meant to keep this island hidden. Even if Storm is a practicing sorceress or not, her gifts are very potent. As the two of them start to look for these flowers and pick them, that is when the water spirit appears to them, asking why they are invading this space and that they will pay with their lives. As Wanda uses her magical ability to try and keep this water spirit in check, she is learning that even her power is not enough to hold it back. That is when Storm combines her lightning with Wanda's. The water spirit really mocking Storm, saying that your mutant abilities simply aren't enough to keep me tamed. This is when Wanda says that the water spirit is wrong, looking to Storm and saying that she meant what she had said about being part of the Sisterhood, telling her to tap into that as she summons her lightning. Storm calling upon her great ancestor, asking for it to flow through her so that she may obtain what they seek and nothing more. That is where we see the display of her magical and mutant power together. Combining this with Wanda's power, they were able to subdue the water spirit, to bind it back down into the sea. Gathering the flowers, they head back and they have some cups of tea. They sit down, they drink this tea, they have conversation, and that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So for me, the backup story was actually far more interesting than anything that's actually going on in the Scarlet Witch main series. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a bad story. I'm just not heavily invested with Wanda, the woman who created a mutant heaven, sitting in a magical shop waiting for individuals to come through the last door. While it is a very noble pursuit, we're talking about freaking Wanda who created a mutant heaven that we're still not talking about. You know, and I saw a lot of the comments in the last video talking about, oh, well, they don't really need to talk about it, they can focus on this. For me, personally, like, I get that you guys aren't hugely invested on wanting to dive into the mutant heaven, but I am. I really want to learn more about that. And so when we get a Scarlet Witch solo series, I was really hoping that we could focus more on that avenue. Like I said, it's not like this series is off to a bad start. It's actually relatively good. We are seeing the true power, the true might of Scarlet Witch, able to take down Dream Queen in the freaking dreamscape. Like, that is no easy feat. In the dreamscape, Dream Queen should be a freaking god, but standing against Wanda, she is not. But with Wanda being accepted by mutant kind again, I was really hoping that this was going to tie more into mutants, more into Krakoa and everything going on. Which for me is why I say the backup story, it really is my favorite story so far that we have gotten from this Scarlet Witch. Because we're exploring how awesome Storm is, because man, like, give it up to Marvel, they are giving Storm her flowers. She has been one of the pinnacle points of the Krakoan era. It has been all Storm, all day, all the time. The only disappointing thing about some of her stories is her fights are over so freaking quickly. You can attest that to her just ridiculous amount of power. But if we go back to like X-Men Red, where Magneto had died, we didn't really get to see Storm or Magneto really use their abilities to the fullest extent that they could be used. And I think that's what fans are waiting for. We want to see Storm just go freaking nuclear. And I do think that that is something we may be able to see in the future. Especially now that she's starting to understand her ancestral roots just a little bit more. Understanding this Storm is connected to magic. Once she is able to utilize this in the proper ways, she is going to far surpass any of her peers, which makes me even more interested on what we could see with Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants and everything going on with Sins of Sinister. But yeah, we're still gonna be covering this line. I'm excited to at least see where it goes. Hopefully it leads into something a little more interesting than her just being, you know, kind of a doctor having appointments where people walk in the door, she solves their problems, and then they leave. I'm hoping that they're gonna do more with Wanda than just that, especially with the arrival of the stone that is able to resist her powers somehow. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this story, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with Scarlet Witch. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do any of that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.